Truckers made to wait overnight for aggregate at Studley Park Quarry. Head of Tobago Business Chamber says legal framework needed for the THA police. THA whole workforce sensitization event with a focus on the minimum wage and major Steelband event back after 11 years. Good evening, I am Biana Brebner. Welcome to the Tobago Updates Television News for May 21st, 2024. Now to our top story. Former Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment, Kwesi Devines, has expressed his frustration on Facebook about the situation at Studley Park Quarry, where truckers are being forced to wait overnight for aggregate via number system. Devines questioned how the quarry could regress to truckers lining up overnight for aggregate despite significant improvements and investment in the THA Special Purpose Company. More in this report by Travisha Phillips.
Kwesi Devines said that despite the many investments and upgrades made to the Studley Park Quarry, including improved plants, increased crushing capacity, and significant repairs, the quarry is again facing issues with truckers lining up overnight to collect aggregates. He highlighted the efforts made by the PNM-led administration, such as ramping up production by over 400%, building stockpiles, and rehabilitating the Barbados Bay jetty. Despite ideal dry season conditions, the quarry is experiencing delays reminiscent of past inefficiencies. Devines questioned how these problems have resurfaced, lamenting that the quarry is back to facing significant operational issues despite overcoming numerous challenges and achieving significant improvements. Tobago Updates contacted Ashwood Jack, chairman of the Studley Park Board, for a comment. He explained that they invited the truckers to a meeting last Friday, where they had detailed discussions about the issues causing the recent problems and set deadlines for their resolution. He reiterated that the board of directors is unhappy with what happened. They had previously brought the situation at Studley Park to a 15-minute delivery period and are continuously working to fix all issues, which led to the meeting last Friday with the truckers. Jack emphasized that they made the first move to reach out to the truckers, and it was not the other way around. As the story develops, Mr. Jack said he will provide more details soon. Travisha Phillips, Tobago Updates Television News.
According to Tobago Business Chamber Chairman Martin George, the legal framework for the development and operationalization of a Tobago police force under the THA needs to be established. He cautioned that the current legislation governing Tobago, the THA Act 40 of 1996, does not permit any influence on national security matters.
There's nothing in the Act which seems to lay down the parameters or fundamentals for the establishment of any such Tobago police service. Even when one looks at the question of what is set out in the 5th schedule as the areas of responsibility, you see there's nothing there which says that the THA has responsibility to provide for the safety and security.
Even if the THA bases the concept on what exists for municipal police in the local government entities in Trinidad, George stated that the appropriate legislation must be drafted.
They specifically provided for the creation and establishment of a municipal police force, and as a result they are legislatively enshrined, because there are several things you have to consider. You have to consider the issuing of arms and ammunition. You have to consider the precepting of these officers by the Commissioner of Police.
For Tobago to have its police force, as Chief Secretary Farley Augustine suggested, George called for the appropriate legislation to be drafted or for Parliament to consider the Tobago Police Bill sent to Cabinet for consideration by the Orville London-led administration of the THA. Last Friday, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine announced that a Tobago House of Assembly police force would be formed as part of a Department of Public Safety. However, the leader of the Progressive Democratic Patriots, Watson Duke, says that the Augustine cannot held his duty as Chief Secretary along with a police force, urging him to focus on one. Duke shared what the PDP would have done. He said he would have formed the Tobago Homeland Security. He further explained this concept during a press conference he hosted yesterday. Ariana Scipio has the details.
The leader of the PDP, Watson Duke, advised the Chief Secretary against creating a Tobago police unit and placing it under him because according to Duke, it would not work. He also said Augustine should be careful not to call any group police. Duke said that there needs to be legitimate documents to guide who a police is, noting that the word has a serious tone to it. He then recommended a department that does not bear any arms and does not have the power to arrest, but a department that deals with monitoring and evaluating data that will work within the remit of the TTPS, supplying them with information.
You call a department Tobago Homeland Security. A less offensive word. Tobago Homeland Security. Once you hear police, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service will measure themselves against these police here.
Duke said the PDP believes this department would make sense given that last year, in April, members of CARICOM came together at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Port of Spain to discuss crime and violence as a public health issue.
They recognize that it is much more than a retribution, much more than imprisonment, much more than meeting violence with violence. It requires a social aspect.
The PDP leader said the Tobago Homeland Security Department should be placed under the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection since CARICOM says crime is a public health issue. He said that they would operate without the power of arms and arrest, instead being friendly neighborhood personnel that collect data, noting that the Chief Secretary can take these points.
The first thing we are going to do is to establish, the PDP would do, is to establish in all of the 15 districts a satellite station, a satellite office that would be large enough for workers to work 24 hours a day.
Furthermore, he said that they would work 7 days a week. Duke clarified that they are not policemen or security officers, but personnel with technical skills to monitor technological devices that would allow them to observe things such as new vehicles entering their district through cameras placed along the roadway. He said these are the types of proactive measures needed in Tobago. Ariana Scipio, Tobago Updates Television News.
Still to come, the THA hosted an event to sensitize Tobago workforce, and later Chief Secretary Augustine tells us more about the reason behind the reshuffle. Stay with us.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Deltec Distributors, best deal. 3 pounds pork, goat, chicken, turkey, beef, 5 meats, 3 pounds each, $300. Best deal. Or you could try 5 pounds pork, goat, chicken, turkey, beef, 5 meats, 5 pounds each, $500. Best deal. $20 delivery. Call winner 359-5040 or 237-0102. Order online at www.deltecdistributors.com or check winner Main Road, Argyle, Tobago. Deltec Distributors, best deal.
Welcome back. Although the new minimum wage has been in effect since January 1st, 2024, employers still have questions about their obligations and changes to the National Insurance Board payments. As a result, the department hosted a session to sensitize employers on the nuances of the new minimum wages and its effect. More in this report from Candice Jackson.
The minimum wage has increased from $17 per hour to $20 per hour. It is illegal to pay employees less than this amount. While the data is lacking, the administrator in the Office of the Chief Secretary, Melissa James Guy, said some individuals receive less than the minimum wage in Tobago.
Anecdotal evidence suggests that this figure may be low and may be more applicable in the informal labor sector, especially among undocumented workers, migrants, etc.
She argued that it is the moral obligation of employers in a progressive society to pay workers a wage that is fair and just.
That may even mean paying more than the minimum wage.
James Guy also indicated to the officials from the Ministry of Labour present at the workshop that perhaps the unique circumstances of Tobago should be considered in future legislation.
Given the higher cost of living in Tobago than in Trinidad, should we have a higher minimum wage in Tobago to ensure that there is equity?
Along with the need to pay workers the minimum wage, Radesh Basant, Public Relations Officer of the National Insurance Board, stressed that it is equally important for employers to contribute to the National Insurance Scheme NIS.
You really don't have a choice in the matter. Once you are an employee and you are earning above a certain amount, then you must pay NIS. So if your weekly salary is above $200 per week, then you must now be registered through your employer.
The increase in the minimum wage results in NIS payments rising from a minimum of $30.10 per week to $37.20. This also applies to migrant and undocumented workers.
Should they find themselves in a position, then all employees, whether you're national or not, you have the right to coverage.
Basant noted that employers, whether they own a business or are individuals hiring someone to do domestic work, must pay NIS.
Whether it's a babysitter, a caregiver, a housekeeper, whatever it may be under domestic, then yes, the employer is obligated under national insurance laws, because the national insurance law speaks directly to domestic employees.
Those employers are required to register as sole traders and pay the appropriate NIS contributions. Candice Jackson, Tobago Updates, Television News.
Minister of Energy and Energy Industries Stuart Young discussed the next step in the compensation claims process for the February 7th oil spill in Tobago with representatives from the International Oil Pollution Compensation Fund. Minister Young solidified his point of holding the owners of the Gulfstream barge and Solo Creek tug by taking legal action, assuring that the IOPC that they continue pursuing leads using all available resources. The IOPC shared that their next step involves treating with claims that encompass economic loss due to the oil spill. This process will be led by the IOPC with the goal that all claims are validated and considered for compensation. Also at the meeting were representatives from the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, the Institute of Marine Affairs, and the Ministry of Works and Transport. All parties indicated their full cooperation and continuous communication to ensure a smooth claims process. Up next, fishermen in Lambo claim that since the Gulfstream oil spill occurred on February 7th, fish has been scarce. However, authorities are reluctant to admit whether the oil spill has negatively impacted marine life in a major way. In the meantime, those responsible for the oil spill remain exclusive, and it is fishermen in Lambo whose losses continue to mount. In this special report published with the support of the Caribbean Climate Justice Journalism Fellowship, which is joint venture of Climate Tracker and the Open Society Foundations, Candice Jackson explores the impact of the oil spill on the marine environment.
Walking along this little stretch of beach in Lambo, It's hard to imagine that only 3 months ago it was coated in thick, black, pungent bunker fuel.
The current state of the shoreline is a testament to the individuals who worked tirelessly to clean up the oil. However, for the fishermen, the nightmare is far from over. Lambo is known for its quality and variety of fish, which are abundant in the waters close to shore, such as flying fish.
Kingfish, barracuda, kuvali, carite, salmon, snapper, grouper, shark, ocean gear. You're catching them, you're catching fish good.
This is because the community is bordered by several coral reefs and the Petitrew mangrove, which attract many fish and other marine creatures. However, since February 7, the Cove Coral Reef has been impacted by a capsized vessel that leaked bunker fuel for several weeks, affecting 15 kilometers of coastline, including the mangrove. With no one claiming ownership of the vessel, local authorities were forced to take action to contain and clean up the oil themselves. One of the immediate concerns was the health of the fish in the area.
The Fisheries Department under the Tobago House of Assembly has been monitoring the situation and assured that the population of fish remains healthy and mostly unaffected.
However, they are unable to investigate what is happening on the reef because while experts are extracting the remainder of the bunker fuel, a 500-meter restriction zone is in place. Coral reef ecologist with the Institute of Marine Affairs, Dr. Anjani Ganesh, admitted that they too are unable to get in and properly assess the situation.
We still have to wait and see the extent of damage. The impact of mangroves and coral reefs are nurseries to juvenile fish species, some of which are commercially important, but we don't know the extent of damage, and we do have to do monitoring of the area to see visible effects of the habitat itself.
The mangroves in the Petitrew Lagoon, which was already experiencing dieback, now has oil clinging to its roots. According to Alvin Douglas, who was the first person to dive the reef and identify the vessel, there is also damage on the reef at Cove.
It overturned in the Atlantic and it actually dragged into that reef. And that reef area was heavily impacted by it.
In this never-before-seen underwater footage, the reef is littered with debris from the wreck. While experts are unable to properly assess the damage, Lambo fishermen are experiencing the impact.
The catches have been minimum. We ain't really catching nothing. All the bottom fish like the lobsters, all this stuff, have gone. Right now, a pound of lobster is $100 a pound.
Lobster was previously sold at $25 per pound. Krishna Thomas said flying fish is also scarce.
Down to the Bajan boats them out there, them complaining the same way. Them not catching nothing. We used to get now one kingfish in the rush. Right now, we ain't getting that again.
Sightings of turtles have decreased as well.
Even the great lionfish, you're not even seeing them around. And you see be seeing plenty of them, plenty.
The only fish which seems to still be in the area is cavali, but fishermen are experiencing problems in capturing bait.
So we used to go right down there, so right behind we back here, so and catch a bait. And we go right out there. And we catch a little 300 pounds or 400 pounds, and we full up 2 coolers of fish. And we come back in and we sell we fish one time.
They now have to travel further distances to catch bait and then journey approximately 40 miles out to sea to catch fish that are normally found within a few miles off the shore.
When you do your maths, it's about $2,000 in fully expense to go out there, to catch fish, to come back here.
Before it would cost them approximately
$300.
On April 12, the All Tobago Fisher Folk Association at first submitted a claim for over $12 million in damages. However, the costs continue to mount. Additionally, some of the fishermen are unable to use their vessels because they were either damaged after getting caught in the oil or while assisting authorities when placing oil booms around the area. ADFA's President Curtis Douglas said the livelihoods of the fishermen are severely impacted.
This is the fault of some reckless person who decided, right, to overturn the vessel and abscond from it, and all up to now no one cannot be arrested or to be jailed for it.
Neither the THA nor central government has offered the fishermen compensation, except for a food card worth $1,000 TT. Instead, the government is in the process of submitting claims to the International Oil Pollution Compensation Fund. Additionally, they are hoping to track down those responsible for the oil spill to file legal claims. What the government knows is that the Gulf Stream was being towed from Panama to Guyana by the Solo Creed. It is unclear what happened as the vessels were nearing Trinidad and Tobago, but they became separated. The Gulf Stream drifted to Tobago, while the Solo Creed was last detected via AIS tracking on February 5th and has not been spotted since. Both vessels were sailing under the Tanzanian flag, which is well known as a flag of convenience. This allows vessels to sail without the same regulations as other countries, which, as the Minister of Energy and Energy Industry, Stuart Young, noted, is making the search harder.
It became apparent that unfortunately, there is a global network of rogue vessels attempting to operate under the law and international obligations.
The circumstances surrounding the questionable registration of vessels sailing under a flag of convenience with no clear owner suggest involvement in sanctioned fuel trading, which operates under a veil of secrecy. Global Financial Integrity estimates that the illegal fuel trade is valued at least between US $5.2 billion and US $11.9 billion annually.
Meanwhile, there is little solace for Lambo fishermen whose livelihoods were affected by the oil.
It's hard. It's real hard.
I am Candace Jackson, reporting for Tobago Updates Television News.
You're watching the Tobago Updates Television News. More news after this.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Need a fresh start? Upgrade your life with the things you want. At Standard Distributors in Canaan, life is good with zero. Get that amazing fridge, the stylish sofa with zero down and easy financing. Your dream house is within reach. Visit Standard Distributors today. Life is good with zero.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Welcome back. The announcement of the Tobago House of Assembly executive was met with much criticism and raised many questions on the island. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine appeared on the Tobago Updates morning show discussing the matter, sharing the critical concern with the reshuffle, which his resources should be deployed to maximize success. Here's more.
The Chief Secretary said at the THA's disposal were 13 elected members and 3 councillors. And after 2.5 years in office, it was a good time to pause and observe how they could increase their levels of success over the next year and a half.
So I think it's strategically the best time to make the move, and it's about putting people to double down on their levels of service for the island of Tobago. We were very careful to also itemize in a very detailed way how we are going to utilize the assistant secretaries.
Augustine highlighted that past administrations left their assistant secretaries where they were, noting that the law does not specify their role or function in great detail. He also pointed out that assistant secretaries do not have the power to sign approvals. However, he said that the law allows them to lead the execution of specific projects.
So, for example, when we saw the increased levels in terms of rural electrification, when you're driving between Spacer and Chavino and there are street lights there, and you exercise going up French Fort and you see street lights so you could exercise later into the evening, that's really part of the work that Assistant Secretary Niall George did while he was across at settlements.
After giving examples of other secretaries leading successful projects in their previous divisions, he said that the reshuffle was not a case of incompetence but about spreading talent around.
Because you will find among or within the team people having varying talents. Might be more than one 2, 3, and so on. And so sometimes you want to just be able to shift the talents around in different places so that you will have similar growth in different places.
The Chief Secretary highlighted that it also increases the focus in some areas. Using Assemblyman Sonny Craig, now the Assistant Secretary in the Office of the Chief Secretary, he said he now has a weighted role dealing with environmental issues, wanting to maximize some of the opportunities there. He said it was about moving people for strategic intent. Ariana Scipio, Tobago Updates Television News.
Seven Tobago steel bands are among 51 registered to participate in Pan Trimbago's Steel Pan is More Beautiful 2024 National Steel Band Music Festival, which is returning after 11 years hiatus. In a statement by Pan Trimbago today, the event will be held under the esteemed patronage of Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley under the theme Canopius Amoris, a Canopy of Love. Pan Trimbago says the participation of 51 steel bands underscores the festival's significance as a platform for musical excellence and cultural expression. Each band will bring its unique style and interpretation to the stage, delivering classical renditions that highlights the steel pan unparalleled range. Canopius Amoris represents a celebration of unity and love through music. The statement noted that the event will seek to revive Trinidad and Tobago's entertainment industry with enriching patriotic focus, family-friendly event for 2024. The event is scheduled for Saturday, July 27th, Saturday, August 17th, and Saturday, August 24th in Trinidad. Tobagonians were privileged to witness the prestige ICC T20 Cricket World Cup trophy during the Trinidad and Tobago Trophy Tour, a momentous event that graced Tobago on May 18th. The trophy's arrival was marked with a grand celebration showcasing the vibrant culture of Tobago through performances by a speech band and traditional mass characters, a testament to the island's rich heritage. Travisha Phillips brings you highlights.
The ICC T20 Cricket World Cup Trophy Tour continues to inspire and unite cricket enthusiasts, fostering a deeper appreciation and love of cricket across the Caribbean. Speaking at the occasion, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine emphasized the significance of hosting the T20 Cricket World Cup in the West Indies and the United States.
And right here in Tobago, we have many promising cricket talents. And this is an opportunity to have them recognize that cricket indeed goes beyond the boundary. Cricket goes beyond the perimeters of Tobago, and they can in fact have cricket as a career and be able to master it sufficiently that they can play cricket all over the world.
Chandra Hari expressed the excitement shared by many fans in Trinidad and Tobago.
As the trophy travels across the islands, it not only brings fans together, but also feeds their passion for the sport, heightening their anticipation for upcoming matches and strengthening the community ties with the game.
The event was graced by several other notable figures in the THA, including Joel Sampson and Wayne Clark, Secretary and Assistant Secretary of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport respectively. Also present were Philip Robinson, CEO of the Tobago Tourism Agency, and Kerwin John, President of the Tobago Cricket Association. Travisha Phillips, Tobago Updates Television News.
Here's what to expect the weather tonight into tomorrow from the TNT Met office. Tonight is generally fair and warm despite odd isolated showers. The temperature will drop to around 27 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow, sunshine will be interrupted by a few showery intervals, mainly during the afternoon and evening period. Overnight will be partly cloudy with light to moderate showers in some areas. Gusty winds and street flooding are possible in the event of showers and or heavy downpours. Temperature will will reach a high of 33 degrees Celsius with a heat index of 37 degrees Celsius. Seas slide to moderate with waves 1.5 meters in open water and below 1 meter in sheltered areas. Sunrise is at 5:39 and sunset at 6:19. And that's how we end this evening's newscast. Let's recap the headlines before we go. Truckers made to wait overnight for aggregate at Studley Park Quarry. Head of the Tobago Business Chamber says legal framework needed for the THA police. THA holds work sensitization event with a focus on the minimum wage. And major Steelband event back after 11 years. I am Biana Brebel. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.